This is a tribute to the Carry On films. The Carry On films are regarded as a British institution. With their bawdy humour and their sexual innuendos, the films would pack cinemas nationwide. Between 1958 and 1992, 31 Carry On films were produced. Our story continues in 1968, when the Carry On team continued their success of great carry-ons. The next would become the crowning glory of them all. It even made a shortlist of 100 greatest films of all time. This was to be Carry On Up the Khyber. Julian Holloway.
Polo sequence at the beginning of the film. Dick Van Dyke was filming Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on another stage and tottered across onto our set. I think he'd had a couple of scoops. Don't think he had any idea where he was. But they were occupying possibly 3 or 4 sound stages to our 1.
Who's the turban job on the throne?
You mean the Qazi? That's Randy Lau.
Who?
Randy Lau, the Qazi of Calabar.
How'd you know he is then?
How do I know he's what?
Randy.
That's his name.
As usual, filming was made on the cheap, and the team descended to Snowdon in Wales. Carry On director Gerald Thomas.
How did you find it in the first place?
Oh, I came down here with my art director and cameraman on a recce, and we met Colonel Goodchild, who lives here in the village, and he came with us. He found these places for us. He was most helpful. It is the only place really in the British Isles that looks like the Khyber Pass. I found that everybody in Wales is called Williams, and having a leading actor called Williams, every time I say, would you look at Mr. Williams, they all turn and look at each other.
I do wish you wouldn't keep doing that. Rank stupidity.
Julian Holloway.
Which was repulsive on day 1. By the time we got to day 5, it was inedible because there were bits of styrofoam that had fallen in. I mean, how any of us didn't get something seriously wrong with us is completely beyond me.
Don't worry, we'll save you some strawberry mousse. Right? Strawberry mousse! Strawberry mousse!
Oh, you won't need clothes where we're going.
After the success of Khyber, the Carry On team decided to go back to its traditional roots. And what better choice than a camping holiday? Khyber and Camping was the 17th Carry On film and the most memorable Carry On film to date. It was also the first time a Carry On film would show full nudity, something that maybe the other films only hinted at, but now they were going all out.
Setting out to explore paradise, Sally's first stop was at the tennis court where 4 sun-bronzed campers were playing a mixed doubles.
Oh, God, blimey. Oh, you won't see nothing like that at Wimbledon, open or not.
I tell you, if one of those men turn round, I'm walking straight out of here.
What's the matter, Anth? Don't you like tennis?
I feel sick. I don't blame her. Honestly, I don't know where to look.
I do.
Georgina Moon.
It was pretty awful. It was meant to be the summer, of course. I can remember all the duck boards they had put out, if you were lucky enough to get to stand on one. Otherwise, we were all wandering around in mud.
How much is it to be a member, then?
Pound. You all right then?
Per person. Each? But there's 4 of us.
Bernie, it's all right, Bernie. We don't want to argue with Mr. Fiddler. 2, 3, 4. That's correct. Now then, gentlemen, your members' cards. Thank you. Right, shall we go then? Yes, any time you want to book in here, just show them. But we want to come in now. Now? Yes, but you haven't booked, have you? Booked? Don't tell me you're full up.
Well, I might be able to squeeze you in, but you should have paid the booking fee.
Booking fee? Which is?
£1.
Pound.
Per tent.
2 tents, £2. Now can we come in?
Certainly. As soon as you paid the rent.
Rent?
In advance.
But you've had £6 out of us already.
Bernie, it's all right, Bernie.
Julian Holloway.
We shot in October, which was hardly ideal for a movie that was supposed to be about a summer holiday. So the conditions were unpleasant, to say the least.
Now can we come in?
Well, there is just one more thing.
What? Welcome to paradise. Bernie, well in.
The Carry On team, though, wasn't afraid of trying new things, or even going back to what they had already done. In 1969, the hospital theme would be used for the third time in the film's history.
You see, I was posing on top of this enormous packet and I slipped and fell.
Oh, I see, I think. Well, we'd better have a closer look at you, hadn't we? If you would, Matron. Oh, nothing. No, nothing at all. It's all marvellous.
What happened to the rest of your clothes, Miss Locks?
Oh, this is all that I was wearing. I told you I was doing an advertisement.
Just for interest, what were you advertising?
Bristol's bouncing baby food.
I can see the connection.
Barbara Windsor.
Carry On Again is the only time I was very nervous about doing one of the carry-ons, because I looked at the script and I'd seen this scene where she's laying on a bed and then suddenly the blanket's pulled away from her and she gets up and there's these three hearts. And I got very, very nervous and I dieted. Gerald, when I showed myself, he went, "Well, that's the gag about Bristol's out the window. What have you done to yourself?"
It's a good skeleton. Did the last doctor leave it here?
That is the last doctor.
That does it. Call me in a couple of weeks.
If you last that long. Twit.
It also marked the last carry-on for regular Jim Dow. A goodbye that won't be forgotten. Jim Dow.
I always suggested that I do my own stunts. Jerry usually kept the stunts till the end of the film. That's in case I broke my neck. He could always cut to a wide shot and have the stuntman looking at Carry On Again doctor. As the doctor, I dived onto a trolley. And this part of the arm was banging on metal. It was very painful during the next take, and within 10 minutes there was a huge patch of red there, and I was taken off to hospital immediately, and I had an emergency operation. I came back the next day with my arm all encased here, and Jerry said, "This is the day we do another stunt, which is you in the hammock."
Oh, I see you've got a hammock.
He said, "Please, just before you're due to go under the floor, do turn round so that we can see that it is you and not a stuntman."
I wouldn't use it.
In 1970, the team embarked on another historical project, this time the life and times of Henry VIII. Carry On Henry was one of the few films that a news team was actually allowed to record behind the scenes during recording, capturing some of those magical moments with the team off set.
I'm starving. What's good, Cromwell?
Oh, I wouldn't recommend anything tonight, sire. If I were you, I'd just have a cup of tea and a bun in your room.
Don't be ridiculous. Looks very tasty. Especially this roast peacock.
Definitely not up to standard, sire. It's all cock and no pea.
That's exactly how I like it.
That most of the acting greats have had a go at Henry. Richard Burton, Charles Lawton. What's your Henry got that the others haven't?
I'm really having a go at him. Up to now I'm losing, but still, you can't win them all, can you?
A critic said of your last performance in the Carry On film, Carry On Loving, yeah, you'll have to stand this, Sid James can only now leer at a pretty wench because it would be unseemly for him to engage in any other frolics with the opposite sex. What about that, Sid?
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He should see me.
Really?
Oh, yes, they queue up outside the dressing rooms. Murder. The fellows, I mean.
But you're the eternal dirty old man in these films, aren't you?
I'm the eternal dirty old man, that's it, you know.
Is that good typecasting?
No, not really. Not really. I'm a car salesman by nature, a jockey by profession, and as far as the birds go,
King, there is one thing you haven't touched yet.
Now we're back to the wife again.
No, a brand new form of taxation I've just thought up. S-E-T.
S-E-T?
Sex Enjoyment Tax.
Sex Enjoyment Tax?
Exactly, Your Majesty. Like drinking or smoking every time they have one.
Yes, that could bring in quite a bit. Might be a bit difficult to apply, though.
Oh, I don't think so. No man wants to be thought lacking. We give them a form and they submit some sort of weekly return.
Do you think they'd stand for it?
Oh, stand for it, sit for it, lie down for it. What's it matter as long as we get the money?
F. Williams, critics call your performances the height of camp in these Carry On films. Now, camp is a misused word today. What is a camp performance?
Well, I believe the word camp has actually found its way into the addenda of the OED.
I beg your pardon?
It's found its way into the addenda of the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, and it's defined there as that which is fundamentally frivolous. And I suppose that's about the nearest you'd get to an academic definition of it. What I think the general, current interpretation of the word is always that which is verging on the effeminate, that sort of thing, which is ludicrous to say that about me because I've personified what you might call the butch element in light entertainment for some time now.
Yes, indeed. Do you enjoy giving these kind of performances?
I think we're here to entertain. That's what we're here to do, to get laughs. And whatever the performances are, I mean, if I'm asked to say lines on the BBC like a fanciful interior decorator coming in and saying, well, we can brighten the place up, you see, shove a couple of creepers up your trellis. If those sort of lines are given to me, I try to make them as entertaining as possible. I mean, I don't analyse them in terms of psychology.
Oh, Your Grace, it is indeed a joy to see you and the Queen so happily reunited.
Yeah, she's not a bad old stick, really. I mean, after all, youth isn't everything, is it?
Indeed not, sir. It is well said that there's many a good tune played on an old fiddle.
True. Particularly when you haven't had your bow out for some time.
Terry Scott doing Cardinal Wolsey?
Not doing him, no. Oh, that's charming. Oh, no, have a bit of reverence. No, I'm portraying Cardinal Wolsey as best I can.
Is this a happy association with the church?
Bloody hysterical, actually. No, one tries to do it. But how can you be a serious cardinal and carry on a lot? Well, we've got some old people working the trucks at the back here, and it's nice to have me around in case anything happens to any of them.
Do you get yourself compromised in this film?
What I do is to pinch one of the girls, bless you, in the opening, yes. In the opening of the film. And but I'm not actually, I'm the only one who gets anywhere.
You're the only one who gets anyone?
If you know what I mean, yes.
So who do you get?
I shouldn't tell you, because otherwise it ruined the picture.
The first carry-on flop was that of Carrying It Convenience, a plot that centred on the workings of a toilet factory with strike action from union workers. This was a bold leap to tackle such as a topic due to real-life stories regarding strike action being prominent at the time. Audiences and cinema goers wasn't as big as previous carry-ons, which posed a tricky decision for the producers, as they weren't sure whether another carry-on film would do as well.
Good, good. Comfort before beauty. That's what I always say.
A bit big in the bowl, I think.
It is only 2 centimetres more than our last model, and I'm sure we shan't fall out over that.
It's falling in I'm worried about.
No. I like your overall design, Mr. Coote.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Look at this. Very slender, this pedestal, isn't it?
It's streamlined.
What for? Wind resistance?
In any case, the thickness has nothing whatsoever to do with the tensile strength.
I hope you're right, Mr. Coote. I have had bitter experience of what happens when one of these collapses. Or rather, my poor dear wife had. Rest her soul.
I can assure you, sir, an elephant could safely use that toilet.
Not without a much bigger bowl.
To anchor back the success the team once had, they tried to revive the good old-fashioned carry-on. This time, the subject was the package holiday. And whilst all the cast was back together for one last time, we sadly said goodbye to Charles Hawtrey, who after 23 films bowed out due to personal circumstances.
It's very lovings, no?
Yeah, I beg your pardon. Oh, you mean lovely? Yes, very nice.
It's all brand news. Tables not satin, chairs not satin, lavatory not...
Yeah, we needn't go into that. Is the manager here?
Yes, I'll fetch him. One moment.
Yes, well, I think we should be very comfortable here.
Yeah, it'll be all right when it's finished, I suppose.
Well, I'm sure you won't allow a little thing like that to spoil your holiday.
Welcoming, ladies and gentlemen, welcomings. I am Monsieur Pepe.
But you were the doorman.
Me? No. That's Mario. My brothers.
Oh, yes, I see. Well, I'm the representative of Wonder Tours, Stuart Farquhar.
Stupid what?
Stuart Farquhar.
I think he was right the first time.
Ah, you, Mr. Farquhars.
Not for me, thank you.
No, don't drink.
No, I tried it once and didn't like it.
Oh. Have a smoke?
I tried it once and didn't like it.
Strange.
Not at all. My daughter is just the same.
Your only child, I presume.
Yeah.
But any chance, though, that the gang would go somewhere nice to film this wonderful abroad holiday was soon dashed. June Whitfield.
When I was asked to do Carry On Abroad, I thought, oh, what fun. I wonder where we'll go. Which beach, will we be? But of course, we went to the car park at Pinewood. The glamour of filming is not always what it might seem.
Hello? Good morning, everybody. What a lovely day. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. Enjoy the sunshine.
That's something you can't muck up.
Ah, well, Wonder Tours especially chose Elsbells for the perfect holiday weekend because of its wonderful sunshine record. Only a shower. Clear up later. It's probably raining in London.
As more films were produced, in 1974 we saw 3 regulars leave the series: Sid James, Barbara Windsor and Hattie Jakes. By this time the films were getting more bawdy and more naughty, a place that the Carry-Ons hadn't gone before, and now were throwing all sorts of things into the mix just to get new audiences on board.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Mind if I join you?
By all means, my director, by all means.
Thank you.
As long as you don't start lecturing us on the error of our ways.
Have you had any luck with your investigations?
Yes, we have an important clue as to his identity.
You have? And what is that?
It appears he has a curious marking on his, if you'll pardon the expression, Reverend, on his diddler.
Diddler? I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, perhaps a more familiar word for you would be...
Oh! But I fear that won't be of much use to you.
Why not?
Well, so many folk round here keep poultry, you see.
I don't mean that kind of... Oh, this is very difficult.
If I may be permitted to speak. You see, what he means, Rector, is that he's got a birthmark on his...
Ah!
Now he's got it.
Ah, yes, yes, now I have got it, yes. But I honestly don't think it's possible that Jack the woodcutter...
Jack the woodcutter?
Well, he's the only one I know that has a chopper.
You're not to worry. I'm sure he's going to be perfectly all right.
It's such a great pity. He was such a good colleague. And to be struck down just as we were having it off.
Really? Just damned hard luck there. Happened to a friend of mine in India. Yes, he was up in the jungle with the colonel's wife, He fell off an elephant.
Oh, no. Having it off is not right.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I mean, these days. I suppose you won't want to be going back to that caravan of yours tonight, will you?
Why not?
Well, I mean, painful associations. What I mean is, you could sleep here if you wanted.
That is most kind of you.
All that digging to do, haven't you? You want a good rest. You might want to.
Thank you, but I'm already getting plenty.
Yes, but I'm not.
Then I must not keep you awake any longer, Major. I'm sorry, Major, but I'm not loving you.
Yes, but...
You see, when I love a man, I give him everything. I give it all.
But I don't want it all. I just want a bit.
The direction of the Carry On films now were taking all sorts of risks, and Carry On England was a prime example of just what level they wanted to take this to. The censor decided that Carry On England was just a little bit too much for its audiences, and decided to make dramatic cuts to the film. And it was the very first Carry On film to get a AA certificate, which meant if you was under 14, you wasn't getting in. Patrick Mower.
It's quite innocent by today's standards, but in those days it caused a great fuss. The censor stepped in again when the sergeant major comes in and he sticks up a picture of the German aeroplane.
Aircraft recognition. These is your new pin-ups. I bet none of you can tell the difference between a couple of Heinekels and a pair of Bristols.
No, but I can recognise a Fokker when I see one.
Which is the name of a German aeroplane. And the censor cut that. He wouldn't allow us to have it in the film.
All ATS personnel taking breakfast, falling outside under Corporal Murray.
Come along, girls, fall in.
How dare you come on parade improperly dressed?
We're only obeying orders, Sergeant Major.
Orders? Whose orders?
His, sirs. We're to wear battle dress trousers and that's all.
The officer would never give a order like that.
His very words.
The dirty little... Come here.
What the devil's going on here? Why are these men half naked?
Because, sir, you said they were to come on parade wearing trousers, and that is all.
I did not.
Oh, yes, you did, sir.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Quiet! I'm going to make a couple of points here. Sir Major, when I said that's all, I didn't mean that's all. I meant that's all, that's all.
That sounds like a lot of alls, sir.
The cold wind of change is going to blow through this camp. This I promise you. So you'd better take cover.
The final film of the original series was a softcore sex comedy, trying to match its rivals at the cinema such as The Confessions or The Adventures of films. Carry On Emmanuel was the first to lose money at the box office. The decision to finish at this point was that of Peter Rogers, who stated that the first Carry On film to lose money would be the last. It took from 1958 and 30 films later for that to happen.
Sometimes I work so hard, I wish she'd leave me alone. A woman is love crazy, she's loving all night. A woman is love crazy, won't stop for a bite. A woman is love crazy, she's out on her own. Sometimes it gets so hard, I just don't wanna go home. If the feeling ever takes
Many revivals in the 1980s were attempted, but they never materialised. And until 1992, when the team would set sail with a few new faces on board in Carry On Columbus. Jim Dow.
Looking back on Carry On Columbus, it may not have been the big success that some of the major Carry On films were, but it was amazing that 40 years later, the same producer, the same director were going to try to create the same thing. It didn't quite capture what the old original Carry On team were able to do instinctively, but it's a nice memory.
But Columbus, we are an impoverished country.
Exactly, sire. And the only answer to Spain's problem is to speculate. One must speculate to accumulate.
Unfortunately, one has to accumulate before one can afford to speculate.
Precisely, sire. And how better to accumulate than to acquire in one fell swoop all the treasures of the Indies.
How right you are, Columbus. How wise.
What makes you think he's up to it?
I have seen his testimonials.
Carry On producer Peter Rogers.
We were invited by the finance people to make this Carry On Columbus. Sounded like a good idea. They wanted to cast certain people who they thought were up-and-coming alternative comedians, which I'm afraid didn't fit in.
This is Kepi, the Portuguese poisoner. How do you do, Mr. Columbus?
Does he only poison Portuguese?
No, he'll poison anyone. He's a wonderful cook, unless he gets in one of his moods. They're hanging him Thursday. This is our Andalusian arsonist, Tonto the Torch. All right. He's really quite safe. They're hanging him Thursday. And this is Marco, the serial killer.
A serial killer?
Beats his victims to death with a sack of Rice Krispies.
Jim Dow.
I did it as a favour to Jerry Thomas. He said, let's try something. A lot of the old gang aren't with us, but we can get together some of the old faces and put together a film that may change. He said, I don't know, it's called Carry On Columbus. As I said, it was a favour to Jerry, but it was also a sort of trip back down memory lane, hoping to recapture what the old Carry On films had been about. The story was not a very strong story. The jokes were very feeble. And they all had their little in-jokes when they're sitting together. And this time there were members of the Carry On team who felt like outsiders when they joined them.
What are you looking at?
Sharks. Man-eating sharks. This sea's full of them. Hey, you mind you don't fall in.
My goodness. You don't think they'd eat me whole?
No, I'm told they spit that out.
Jack Douglas.
It's funny, I've shut that picture out completely. I think Columbus doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. So if you said to me, what was your funniest gag in the picture, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
What do you make of it?
Some kind of vegetable. Looks like old dried cabbage.
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
Horse shit.
Is it cooked?
If it is, they should shoot the cook.
Well, I'll be damned, look at that. They cook it while you're eating it. So try it cooked. What's it taste like now?
Still tastes like horse shit.
June Whitfield.
There was something a bit strange about it. Maybe it should have been called Carry Off Columbus. I don't know.
Leslie Phillips.
I had to come back. I had no idea it was a very important decision because it was the last film Jerry made.
The Carry-Ons are a British institution with its bawdy humour, familiar faces, innuendos and its seaside slapstick. It created over 30 years of entertainment and still to this day is loved by millions. Whether you watch them at home or on the TV, it will always have a place in people's hearts as being one of the most successful franchises in British cinema history.
Oh, come on, Kenny. It's all over.
Oh, no, it's not all over. That's the trouble with the world today. They haven't the courage to carry on like that brave few up there. But never fear, there'll always be ordinary, decent men and women ready to step in and fill the ranks, and all the other cinemas throughout this septic isle. Oh, the far-flung dominions, and the majestics, and the regals, and the Gaumonts with their great organs coming up out the floor, the mighty Wurlitzers, not to mention the Granadas, and the Roxys, and the Ionics, and the Raviolis, and the Savoys, and the peas pudding. One empire may have gone, but another will spring up to take its place, nay, twins, or even triples. And we shall carry on beyond these shores, in Thailand, in Iceland, in Hindustan, and Pakistan, in the faraway Burmese, and the takeaway Chinese. We shall make them love on the beaches in the Middle East, in the front stalls and at the back, and the back stalls as well. Yes, for we are that precious few, that happy band that is forever England. I don't speak for one, I speak for all.
Oh, he does, you know. He's a terrible big mouth.
Give us the fools, and we will finish the job. For in a corner of every foreign field, we'll leave a little something that is part of our national heritage. And I say unto you, that never before in all the field of human entertainment have so few done so much to so many. Barbara, I'm trying to open the wine. You must let me out.